This week on your home for all the hype in boys hoops. We've seen some incredible action all January long. This week, no different. We bounce all over the Wolverine State. Road teams imposing their will. Top 10 teams brushing off any bullseyes on their backs. Settle in and perk up. Hangtime, Michigan is ready to roll. Let's go! CHAMPS Hangtime is presented by Lawrence Technological University, where Blue Devils dare. Also brought to you in part by Hungry Howie's, famous for flavor. The Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. The Basketball Coaches Association of Michigan, because better coaching always matters. And the Detroit Athletic Club Foundation. Nominations being accepted now for Male and Female Athlete of the Year at dacathleteoftheyear.com. Ladies and gentlemen, we are getting set to hit February, which means that things are getting real heated on the hardwood. Welcome to Hangtime, Michigan, here on the State Champs Sports Network. My name is Lauren Plant. This is Scott Bernstein. You can read his killer blog, Bernie's Bites, at statechampsnetwork.com. This is TJ Kelly, his top 25 and small school basketball rankings up on statechampsnetwork.com right now. You guys loving this time of year or what?
Hey, the nitty-gritty. Of course, man, we're about to hit Flavor Town in February. Lots of great hoops to be played and heading down the home stretch. Let's see, let's watch the cream rise.
That's it. We're going to talk about those small school rankings, and we're going to talk about the proposal to add 2 more games to the basketball schedule in the future with Dan Young. That's coming up on the BCAM segment. I know TJ likes that. But first, you know what we do? Bring the highlights. We begin in the DRL. Allen Park at home to take on the Bears from Wyandotte Roosevelt. AP and White coming in at 5-3. First quarter action. Ripcord into the junior Colton Caswell on the post. He scored the first 6 points for the Jags. They led by 5 after 1. Wyandotte Roosevelt unbeaten in league play downriver, 6-0. Bears active and attacking. Keyshawn Devlin to the junior Hayden Loya. Bears terrific in transition moments later. Loya with the alley-oop, Jimmy Bro with the jam. Wyandotte Roosevelt leading 20-16. Back comes A. Park, remaining moments of the half. The senior Blake Gilliam, baseline, spin to the 10. Jags went into the break trailing by 4. Second half, Allen Park seemed to be finding their footing in the key as Caswell 24-22 ball game. But Wyandotte Roosevelt took control, never gave it back. Loya, the no-look to senior Cody Burris. Bears by 8 at this point, and the lead grew. Darian Henderson kicks to Ethan Science, the sophomore with the arc and corner splashdown. Wyandotte Roosevelt wins 52-36, 8-2 on the season.
I'm Alex Sims from the Lansing area in the CAAC Blue, and look who was in the house at East Lansing High School, and he was smiling. Mark D'Antonio is the latest college coach to stop in and watch Trojan junior Andrel Anthony, and if you remember, Jim Harbaugh was in the house last week. Trojans hosting Everett, and speaking of the 3-star receiver, look at this steal and slam by Anthony to get the crowd rocking. What a dunk. Everett would stick in this one, though. Here's DeAndre Williams driving it downtown for the score to put the Vikings within 9, but East Lansing wouldn't back down. Here's Anthony showing off his passing game with a lob to Malik Matthews for another 2. East Lansing wins this one 70-57 and now is in control of second place in the CAAC Blue.
I'm Jake Durant from the UP. We had 2 of the best boys basketball teams above the bridge go head-to-head. Nagani hosting Iron Mountain. First quarter, Iron Mountain up 2. Jackson Sager with no hesitation. He hits from deep. Miners take the 1-point lead. The Mountaineers come right back. The bank is open late for Tony Farah. Doesn't matter how he gets there as long as it goes in. Second quarter now, Jason Waterman kicks it up another gear with the blow-by. He finishes with 2 defenders all over him. Iron Mountain up 35-29. Third quarter now, Miners looking to fight their way back into this one. Sager, nice find there to Drew Duchesne, who lays it in. 39-32 Iron Mountain. Marcus Johnson, what a nasty step back there. That's an eyeball 3, 49-34 Mountaineers. Can't forget about Foster Wonders. He could probably get this shot anytime he wants. This one really was a team effort. Fourth quarter, Sager still playing hard. The drive, the spin, the bank, so pretty. 55-41 Iron Mountain. Miners trying to press, but Johnson, check out the split and the dish, and that's about as easy as it gets for Farah. Iron Mountain, they had 4 players reach double digits, led by Johnson, who finished with 18 points and 7 rebounds. Mountaineers stay perfect with a 69-51 win.
I'm Ryan Slocum. We had a big matchup in the Genesee Area Conference with Weberville looking to pull into a second-place tie with 9-1 Burton Bendel. Great start for the Tigers. Brian Britt with the drive and dish to Donald Davis III. DD3 scored 11. Bendel up 2 after 1. Then early in the second, Dayton Mills with the steal. He takes it all the way for the deuce. That would put Bendel up 6. But the Spartans answer with an 8-0 run. Nathan Walker finds the loose ball. He spins through traffic for the bucket and 1. Weberville goes up 2. They continue to control the quarter. Colson Lycos with the double clutch as he glides to the rack. Weberville led it 32-24 at the break. The big fundamental, Dawson Lott, took over in the third. He scored all 8 of his points in the period. The Spartans go up by 11. The lead was 14 when the Tigers heat back up. Malik Bingham Davis leaves the defender in the dust. He then cans the triple in the closing seconds of the third. That sparks the Tigers. The sophomore Daquan Coleman hangs and hits. Bendel pulls within 4, but Weberville builds that lead right back. Oscar Fuller with the prayer plus the foul. He scored 14. Walker led the way with 25 as Weberville hands Bendel its second loss of the year, 72-59.
All right, great block of highlights there. Some good games. We saw Wyandotte Roosevelt move to 8-2, 6-0 in conference downriver, so they look like they're in control. Lansing Everett loses to East Lansing. It was an interesting matchup. If Everett could have won that one, it would really have kind of upped their trajectory, although EL now just 1 game back of Okemos. They are 8-1 overall, so they're playing strong. We saw some small schools, and we're going to talk about the rankings here in just a second. We got to see Iron Mountain here on the show. They remain 10-0. It was Nagani going in that was also undefeated, so good win for them. And Burton Bendel falls on the road at Weberville, so this is what you see sometimes in the small schools, especially in those areas where there's just a lot of good players and there's a lot of teams that can beat anybody on any given night. Weberville now 4-0 in the GAC Blue, and Burton Bendel falls to 5 more.
Well, you still have Flint Beecher at the top of that, and they are more than likely going to win their umpteenth division title in a row. Shout out to Weberville. Burton Bendel has been phenomenal this year, with their only loss coming to Flint Beecher. And so, that's a testament to defending at home.
Weberville's got a nice little fire and ice, thunder and lightning. Terrible twosome in Daquan Coleman and Dayton Mills. Guys that are both very versatile. They're grinders. Great job to get that dub.
I would also say that East Lansing is going to be these teams we've talked about. They have 1 loss. They put up 70 to win that one. I think, Okemos will be their challenge. But overall, what do you think the run can be coming out of? Yeah, the ceiling.
Well, they're young, and just having a team full of sophomores and juniors. There's going to be some adapting to some of the more experienced teams, like a Okemos. Pruitt's done a fantastic job, and just being able to control the tempo. That's what you need in a team like Okemos. When they play each other again later on in this season, that's going to be an opportunity for to have a two-way tie at the top of the CAAC Blue. So the Trojans will be fine at the end of the
East Lansing, though, has a very dynamic playmaker in Marcus Warman.
Warman's a phenomenal player, and I think that the other guy is a guy named Andrell Anthony, who everybody knows from the football.
Won the fan vote for Mr. Football.
Small school rankings just came out. This is your first top 10. You can find it right now at statechampsnetwork.com. Talk about how you came up with, because, again, we're talking about schools that are most likely in Division III and the Division IV. There's some great teams on this list. How did you come up with it, and, how did you figure in ranking?
I'd like to see some of the smaller schools really compete against, larger schools. That's why Flint Beecher is number 1. They're number 3 overall in the top 25 in the entire state. Then you look over at team number 2, Hanover Horton. They're the last team. I know it was last year, but they're the last team to beat Ypsilanti Lincoln.
Wow.
Other than River Rouge.
Right.
Then you go to the third team, Iron Mountain. We know what they bring to the table. You've got Coach Johnson,
Foster Wonders, Marcus Johnson, the two most electrifying basketball players in the UP.
Yeah, and they're doing a phenomenal job. I expect them to make a return to the Breslin. It wouldn't surprise me at all to see those top 3 teams all to compete for the Division III championship if it so does want to mingling out its way there. But then moving on, Southfield Christian. We know what they bring to the table. They'll have an opportunity to win their 6th championship in the last 10 years, I believe. Moving on, we've got DEPSA. I mean, that might be the 4th team, of the top 3 that wound up going into the Breslin. But yeah, at the end of the day, there are a lot of great teams. Maple City Glen Lake's done a phenomenal job.
Hey, we are going to have more from these guys coming up in just a little bit, so stick with us here on Hangtime. What's up, Puckheads? Sean and John here. Don't forget, you can check out Hockey Times. Every week, we are going to be talking about what's going on in the great state of Michigan at the high school level. So much good hockey being played, and we're going to do our best to cover it from all vantage points in the great state of Michigan. New episodes drop every Wednesday right around 3 o'clock. Lauren Plant back here, and I'm calling out all League of Legends players. That's right, esports. To get your school signed up for this year's 4th annual league and tournament. Did you know that there has already been nearly $1 million given out in scholarship money by Lawrence Tech to not just the winning team of the tourney, but the runners-up too? Get 5 guys from your school. Regular season starts in February, playoffs in April, championship finale in May at Lawrence Tech in Southfield, Michigan. Sign up right now at statechampsesports.net. Oh yeah, the league is free. We're accepting teams from Indiana and Michigan. It's epic. Be a part of it. For all information, including sign up, go to statechampsesports.net and do it right now. Registration will end very soon.
We're getting reports that you have over 40,000 flavor combinations.
That's right.
May I examine one, ma'am? Is this real cheese?
100% real mozzarella, officer.
Explain this dough.
Made fresh daily.
I'm gonna have to confiscate this as evidence.
Aren't you a mall cop?
All units, someone's in the fountain.
10-4. Tiger on the prowl.
Treat yourself to the world's first stuffed flavored crust pizza. And now, for just $6.99, try our new stuffed Howie bread.
Hungry?
Howie!
Time now to get to this week's segment on Hangtime Michigan we call Fast Break. This segment is presented by BCAM, the Basketball Coaches Association of Michigan. We're hanging with Dan Young, the Executive Director of BCAM. Hey, Dan, we had some coach representation last week, but it is good to have you back.
It's awesome. It was great that they were on. They did a great job, and thanks for having me again.
Of course, of course. A big focus for you and your organization over the course of the past year is to work with the Michigan High School Athletic Association and make things work better in the Michigan high school basketball community. 3 major points of emphasis, and we've discussed 2 of them already over the past month, and that's playoff seeding and June recruiting. We went over that. The third focus you guys have is maybe adding 2 more games to the season. This has already been proposed, right?
MHSAA, Mark Ewell, Nate Hampton, as we get into meetings, we continually try to say that we want to be competitive with other states and what other states are doing. It's a competitive world out there when it comes to kids and where they go to school and their families, and they're looking on who does what. It's from a regional standpoint, our part of the country, we want to get up to par, and one of those things is having more games. We don't want 35, 40 games like some states, but we would definitely like to have 22. It's been proposed. We have put it out there. We are behind it, and we'll see where it goes. I think Mark Ewell putting out some really good surveys have given us some hard data on what other states are doing. We're excited about it.
22 is a good number. Dan and I will have another segment this week on our Michigan Roundup show, which among other sports features girls basketball. On that episode, we discussed the mentoring program that's really unique to BCAM, and that is developing really good coaches. And the last day to register for membership in BCAM is quickly approaching, right?
February 15th. If you want to be a member of BCAM and be a part of all of our awards and all of our nominations, players and coaches, you must be a member by February 15th.
Check it out at bcam.org.
I admit it, I love working with money, negotiating, and making big decisions. That's why I'm majoring in finance and economics at Lawrence Tech. What's truly amazing about the education here is the small class sizes that give me easy access to my professors who truly care about my future. They even helped me get a great internship. And I was able to fulfill my lifelong dream of playing college golf. Lawrence Tech, where Blue Devils dare.
My dad and my grandfather are officials. I've grown up around officials and seeing how much they enjoy being part of the games. As a student athlete, I've always appreciated the people out there who are willing to give back to the kids. The Legacy program lets me officiate while I'm still in high school, working younger kids' games. Officiating gives me a better understanding of the game. I get to make some pretty good money for a high school kid, and I even get to spend some quality time with my dad. There's help wanted. Just whistle.
Hey guys, Lauren Plant here to remind you that the deadline to submit nominations for the Detroit Athletic Club Foundation's Male and Female Athlete of the Year is fast approaching. As the host of the live awards show every year, let me clue you in on a few quick things you need to know. Number 1, 6 male and 6 female nominees will be named once the application deadline has passed. If you do not submit a nomination form, I don't care how great of an athlete you are, you cannot be nominated. Number 2, this award is very selective. These are for young men and women who are first-team All-Staters or are projected to be this winter or for the upcoming spring season. It's only for seniors. You have to have a minimum overall GPA of 3.0 or better, and we're looking for leaders both in school and in your community. Number 3, each nominee gets $1,000 in scholarship money. The winners get $5,000 each. This is to help in your college education, and you get to come to a red carpet awesome awards show in May hosted by me. To download the application, go to dacathleteoftheyear.com. The deadline to apply is February 3rd. To be nominated Male or Female Athlete of the Year is an incredible honor and one you'll never forget.
What's up, State Champs Nation? Jenna Skalski here. We know you're getting some great hooping content here on Hangtime. However, did you know about our Winter Roundup show? Every Friday at 5 p.m., we dedicate an entire 20 minutes to all the other sports happening this winter, like girls basketball, wrestling, swimming, bowling, gymnastics, and cheerleading. Be sure to check it out on all of our socials along with our brand new State Champs app.
You're watching Hangtime, Michigan. What you got cooking? A whole lot of highlights. Yeah!
I'm Chuck Pellerito, and we head to a clash of the Catholic League on Tuesday night. The 4th-ranked Orchard Lake St. Mary's Eaglets travel to take on the newly ranked number 20 Brother Rice Warriors. The Eaglets' only loss of the season came against number 3 Flint Beecher last Monday. They rebounded against De La Salle and looked to keep it rolling against Rice. And Mr. Basketball candidate Lauren Bowman going to scoop up the loose ball and get the bucket for the game's first points. But the Warriors would respond. Curtis Williamson gets the ball at the top of the arc. He's got no room, but he does have the size advantage. He'll drain the contested 3-ball, but the Eaglets would have the advantage after the first, 21-11. In the second, Warriors trying to close the gap. Curtis Williams finds a wide open Xavier Thomas behind the long line, and he won't miss. But St. Mary's and Bowman would be able to keep pace. Bowman pushing inside, and he'll finish at the rack. He had 11 points in the first half, and the Eaglets went into the break up 9, 30-21. But check out Rice coming out of the half. They get the board and push it up court, and John Brantley is left all alone. He'll let loose the long gun for his 3rd triple of the night. And when you've got something going, you just keep rolling. Thomas is just wide on the 3, but Miko Stewart gets the board, finds some space behind the line, and drain the 3-ball. Eaglets getting after the ball in the late stages. Kareem Rozier falls on it and gets it to Bowman. The heart bounce up to Julian Roper. The finger roll and one. After 3, the Eaglets led 47-39. The Warriors would pull within 1 in the 4th, but St. Mary's would be able to weather the storm. Rozier kicks out to Jack Crichton for 3, and the Eaglets hold on to win this one over Brother Rice, 60-51, our final score.
Kevin Trozinski, and we go to the west side of the state. We have Hudsonville going up against the Panthers of Holland West Ottawa. Hudsonville coming in undefeated at 9-0 and ranked 2nd in our latest top 25 rankings. First quarter, Johnny Miller misses, but the senior Jack Joldersma is there for the putback slam. Holland West Ottawa came in with the 8-2 record. Blake Peterson gets the steal and goes in for the easy lay-in. The senior had 11 points on the night. Panthers were down 12-7 after the first. Back comes Hudsonville in the second. The senior Max Perez takes it away, and he goes in for the layup. Eagles up by 7. The Panthers would respond later in the quarter. The senior Alex Janetsky works his way for the bucket. Holland, West Ottawa was down 26-20 as we went into halftime. Hudsonville would start to expand on its lead in the second half. It's Perez knocking down the triple. He finished with a game-high 18 points. Then, a few possessions later, the Eagles working the ball around, and it would be the senior Justin DeGraff that gets the hoop and the foul. Hudsonville up 40-30 as we head into the fourth quarter. Holland, West Ottawa keeping it close in the final stanza. It's Janetsky once again with the drive and gets 3 points the old-fashioned way. Panthers down 42-38. We go late in the contest. Game tied up at 47. Hudsonville going for the go-ahead bucket. Perez drives and dishes to Miller, who spins and kisses it off the window to put them in the lead and never look back. As Hudsonville goes on to win 53-49, and they remain undefeated at 10-0 on the season.
LP back with you, and we go to the Detroit Public School League. The Pharaohs of the Communication of Media Arts at home versus the Trojans from Detroit Henry Ford. With the city playoffs starting up soon, this game had importance. Let's find out who finishes second in the West. CMA's Jeremy Henderson. Boom! One of his 2 triples in the first quarter. He finished with 12. Pharaohs led 17-15 after the first. Detroit Henry Ford, Class B state champs back in 2016. Always a tough opponent. James Perry II exploding to the cylinder. Back came CMA later in the half. The junior Damon Terrell knocks down the mid-range J. Pharaohs went into the break still leading by a bucket. Back and forth the rest of the way. In the third, Dorian James driving and scoring. He finished with 10. CMA up 40-35. The Trojans respond. Charles Banks gets the steal. In for the hoop and 1. Henry Ford down a penny, 42-41 as we headed into the final stretch. Early stages of the fourth, both teams going at it. Off the rebound, Mario Hall outlets to Ryan Williams, and the senior going badunk-a-dunk. He finished in double figures with 14. Under 5 minutes to go, tied at 45, Perry buries the triple. He had a team-high 16, Henry Ford up 48-45. Just over 2 minutes left now, 51 all. CMA's Terrell with the pill, he's going slam dancing. The junior at a game-high 20. Detroit CMA moves to 9-3. They hang on to beat Henry Ford 59-55. Clinch second place in the PSO West.
Your house tonight. Go get it. Let's go.
The Northville Mustangs at home and a 9-1 record coming in, leading the KLAA West Division. But taking on an 8-2 Howell team, winners of 5 and 6, currently tied for the West Division lead. Both teams 5-1 in divisional play. Highlanders without the services of their leading scorer, Tony Honkala, who missed his third game following a concussion. Who would step up? Will Handshot won't go? Check the will of Griffin Smith, the board in the bucket.
Let's go Northville! Let's go Northville!
Mustangs had won their first 9 contests coming in, only suffering their first defeat in a 4-point loss at Salem last Friday. Still first quarter, and it was clear early. The 6'5 senior Zach Shoemaker came to play tonight. Steps in front of the pass, and he gone. Climbing the ladder, Northville had an early advantage. And like deja vu, minutes later, the Zach attack at it again. The swipe, the sprint, success. 9 of his 14 points came in the first half. We were tied at 12 after 1. Second quarter, more from that man Shoemaker again. Huddy the steal and a beeline to the bucket, but check out the shoot, the rejection. Keep in mind, Howell hasn't had a home game in 2 weeks. They won 3 of 4 during this road streak. Smith going to pull down the rebound, give it to the senior Peyton Ward. And the also linebacker bowls his way in, finishes nicely with the left. He had a career-high 11 points in this one. Highlanders led at the break 18-16.
That's a gritty half of basketball by a lot of guys that don't get minutes, but we got to communicate better on defense. But the only thing that kept us in that game was our heart and our toughness, which I love, but we gotta start thinking a little bit more. And it started to get better as we settled in. But you gotta communicate like crazy.
They listen, and the Highlanders executed. On defense, Northville only scored 12 points in the entire second half. Howell added 22. Third quarter, it's going to be hand from distance. He had 8. Senior guard Bobby Samples was serving up some tasty treats. Straight to the rack, he finished with 10 points on the night. Another big road win for Howell as they move past Northville atop the KLAA West. Highlanders tamed the Mustangs 40-28. Second time this season they held a team under 30. These two will do it again in the final divisional game, February 21st.
It's time now for the MHSAA Basketball Clip of the Week. And it goes to Jimmy Bro from Wyandotte Roosevelt. Here, going up for the alley-oop jam in the win over Allen Park. And that's your MHSAA Basketball Clip of the Week.
All right, welcome back inside the State Champs Sports Network studios. Hoops Talk, segment 2. TJ Kelly, Scott Bernstein, I'm Lauren Plant. You just saw another great block of highlights. We had some good games this week. Got some really good games coming up this weekend. We'll talk about that in just a second. But Orchard Lake St. Mary's goes on the road at Brother Rice. That was a 4 versus 20 matchup. They win 60-51. Holland West Ottawa falls at number 2 Hudsonville. They continue to roll. 5-0 in conference, 10-0 in league. They win 53-49. That was a close matchup. Detroit Henry Ford, again, a team that's 7-6 right now, but always somebody that is going to be a tough out.
Kenny Flowers.
Yes,
I mean,
exactly.
You don't get much better as a tactician.
Right.
The motivator on the bench.
Right, but Detroit CMA showing that they can play with the boys this year. 9-3 right now. They win 59-55. The game I was at, Howell traveled to Northville. Howell, a gritty team, 4-1 in league right now. They're atop the KLAA West, so they're expecting to make some noise once we get into the playoffs. But overall, those are some good matchups, good games you want to see in late January.
Let me just point out one thing for the Howell victory. You had Peyton Ward, who was their best defensive player, flipped the script, put it into turbo gear with his offense, scored a career-high 12 points, led him to the W. Nick Simon just such a tremendous job on the bench for Howell.
Yeah, I was fortunate to see them over the Motor City Roundball Classic, and the Highlanders, they're just interchangeable pieces. It seems like everybody knows what their role is. Nobody goes up and beyond what they're supposed to do, and they execute.
As we kind of evolve now into our preview for what's going on this week, we are going to cover 6 games, all 6 games happening at the Red Hawk Showcase at Grand Rapids City High School this week, and it's Saturday night. If you can be there, go be there. Great matchups. So we're going to cover all of them and have them on the show next week. I think we're also going to get up to Ann Arbor this Friday, and we're probably going to hit up that Novi Christian, Southfield Christian game next Tuesday, which should be a great small school matchup.
Bubba versus the Blackwell.
There you go. There you go. But let's talk about this Red Hawk Showcase, which again is turning out to be really great. And we could start Hudsonville taking out Orchard Lake St. Mary's.
That should be exciting.
3:30 game?
That is a 3:30 game.
3:30 game. Wow. If you don't have anything planned for 2 o'clock, you better be there in the gym. I really like what the organizers for the Red Hawk Showcase have done in moving the venue to Old Grand Rapids Christian City High. So it's going to be 500, 600 more people that'll be able to get in the gym over the last couple of years. They've sold out, and they've put together some fantastic games. And as you related to the Hudsonville Orchard Lake St. Mary's game, is quite a matinee.
Yeah, it sure is, no doubt about it. And it's interesting here on the show. This will be our first look at Grand Rapids Union. You like them?
I do. I think that Jeremiah Pittman
and Carmen Ainsworth's
well
a good opponent.
Ray Anderson. Hey, and you look over at Carmen Ainsworth, and I think one of the up and coming juniors in that class, Jaden Nunn. It's been phenomenal. Anybody who saw them play in the Round Ball Classic versus Cass Tech, he led them to victory.
He's a finisher.
A great finisher. He wants to take the big shots. He's got good size. He's 6'3", and he'll have plenty of opportunities, and more than likely won't have to pay for college education.
All right, we're gonna have Detroit Cass Tech on the show next week, so it'll be great. It'll be our first time looking at him and Tyson Acuff, obviously one of the Mr. Basketball hopefuls to get into.
I think right now I'm gonna put a new power ranking out probably
a week
or two, and I think Tyson Acuff right now has pushed himself into top 3. Top 4, definitely.
Okay. And finally, then, just a prediction, of course, the nightcap, Benton Harbor and Ypsilanti Lincoln. How's that turning out?
I'm looking for a coin that I can flip.
Okay, all right.
I'm going to go with one of those teams that won a championship in the last 2 or 3 years.
That's bold.
It's a bold prediction.
Yes, exactly. We'll see. I think it's going to be a real interesting matchup. Obviously, up top,
Scooby in the Scooby Airs versus the Phenom.
Yes, no doubt about it.
LeBron James 2.0.
All right, so check it out again. The Red Hawk Classic at Grand Rapids City High School. First game at noon. That's all the time. We have no Hangtime Overtime podcast this week. Just not a lot of whole news going on, but you can check out last week's when we talked about the state of AAU basketball. Again, go to Linktree. Just search Hangtime on Linktree. Check it out. Otherwise, we will see you at tip-off next week here on Hangtime. State Champs Hangtime is presented by Lawrence Technological University, where Blue Devils dare. Also brought to you in part by Hungry Howie's, famous for flavor. The Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. The Basketball Coaches Association of Michigan, because better coaching always matters. And the Detroit Athletic Club Foundation. Nominations being accepted now for Male and Female Athlete of the Year at dacathleteoftheyear.com.